Hello, everybody. Hi, we're doing. Good morning. Me, PDawg, cup of coffee in hand, ready to go. I wish I had some profound wisdom for you, but I don't. So let's just wait till after the intro to see if I can come up with something. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. Your host here, me, PDawg Night, also known as Marty, also known as that guy in the television. It is February 11th, 2020, and there's, I guess the news just never stops. There's always something going on, so that's why I'm here, I guess. I just give you my little take on the morning news and things that may have happened in the last day. And then we try to figure out what people are going to be talking about later. That's what we do here on the Morning Night Live. That's what we do every day. Now, those of you who are already in the chat, good morning. I see you there. I see people are slowly strolling in. It seems like the notification may not have gone out as fast as it usually does, because usually there's quite a few more people here so far. But I know some of you just got here and you're listening in the background, you're lurking. That's cool. Just do what you do if you're in a car or, listening at work. Go right ahead. That's just how it works sometimes. But hey, let's say good morning to the people who are in the chat. First, and I mean the person who was first, was good old Peter Allman, my friend from Manchester, who gets the bell. Whoa, that didn't sound very loud. Could you hear the bell? Is that just me? Oh, my volume wasn't up very loud. Also, while I'm at it, let's put the music on too. It has a little bit different feel to it. It has a little 70s pop feel to it today. At least that's the taste I chose for today. And tomorrow, yes, we will have Funky Wednesdays on Wednesdays. That's for sure. And I may change the Mondays to Metal Mondays. Someone asked for Metal Mondays. Maybe we'll do Metal Mondays, and then we'll mix it up. Salsa, merengue, pop, video game music, whatever, Anyway, Peter Allman was first. I'm going to play the bell one more time, because now that I can hear it, because I turned my volume up. Also, good morning to Advocatus Diaboli, also known as the Devil's Advocate, Green Thunder to Mighty, Mr. Scott, Cynical Lindsay, C. Thomas, Gulf City Peasant, or just C. Thomas, my good friend Corbin, Patrice Ripley, Attack Alpaca, Daryl Parnass. Oh man, the names are rolling in. I am so gracious. I truly am. So, this morning I made the theme pulling the plug, and if you saw my thumbnail, yes, it is a picture of the current president of the United States in the middle of a swamp. And I know that one of his themes as part of his campaign. Why is my head so big in that TV? Holy shit. I guess I noticed that earlier. Anyway, hey, Prospero, how are you doing? I'm so glad you're here when I'm live. Awesome. So, yeah, the theme of the day, at least the biggest, well, I don't know if it's the biggest news, but it's the one that drove a certain segment of our population the most crazy. The fact that our president, the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is getting rid of a bunch of the Obama holdovers at the NSC and in other sections of the executive branch. And, I like to use Ace of Spades as my go-to aggregator, but this was something on his blog yesterday, so I'm going to just throw it on the screen here. Let's see, make sure it fits on the page, though. Yeah, there it goes. Trump gets rid of 70 Obama holdovers on the NSC. Joe DeGenova says that the anonymous writer who penned the New York Times the articles against Trump, even Ace needs some editors. who penned the New York Times articles against Trump, has been identified and will also be sidelined. Now that's that's an interesting way to put it. Here's the story. I'll tell you what. Here's the story from the Washington Examiner. Put that full screen. There we go. Bigger than Vindman, Trump scrubs 70 Obama holdovers from the NSC. President Trump is making good on his promises to drain the swamp and cut Obama-era holdovers from his staff, especially the critical and recently controversial National Security officials, or National Security Council. Officials confirmed that Trump and the National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien have cut 70 positions inherited from former President Barack Obama, who had fattened the staff to 200. Many were loners from other agencies and have been sent back. Others left government work. The NSC, which is the president's personal staff, was rocked when a whistleblower leveled charges that led to Trump's impeachment. And, of course, Donald Trump did, of course, tweet about it. He says, fake news, CNN and MSDNC. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That's a joke from us in the internet sphere. Anyway, keep talking about Lieutenant Colonel Vindman as though I should think only how wonderful he was. Actually, I didn't know him, never spoke to him, or met him. I don't believe, but he was very insubordinate, reported contents of my perfect calls incorrectly, and was given a horrendous report by his superior, the man he reported to, who publicly stated that Vindman had problems with judgment, adhering to the chain of command, and leaking information. Oh, shocker. In other words, out. Bye. See you later. Last week, one key official who testified against Trump at a House hearing on the Ukraine affair that led to the impeachment was sent packing. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was returned to the Pentagon. His twin brother, Lieutenant Yevgeny, however you say that, Vindman, was also given the boot. Trump had also expressed displeasure that Alexander Vindman had testified against him when the Ukraine specialist said he did not like the phone conversation between the president and the newly elected president of Ukraine. Entering the White House, Trump has relied on staffs smaller than previous administrations and has noted how prior presidents had a much smaller NSC team. O'Brien recently said that former President George W. Bush handled the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with 100 NSC aides, a model he is instituting. So, goodbye, young Mr. Vindman and your brother. Well, young, I don't know how young they are, but, basically the extra Obama people that were there, which and really honestly, some people are saying, oh, this is a cover up. He's retaliating. Well, hold on now. Just an FYI, Alexander Vindman is not being fired. Okay, and that's what people are. He's firing these poor people. They're going to be out on their ass, and they won't have anything to do, and they won't be able to feed their children. Wrong. Alexander Vindman is going to be going to, I think the Army War College or whatever. That's a prestigious place to go. He's going to go learn how to be what he's supposed to be, or all he can be, or whatever you want to call it. He's not being fired. He's just being removed from this particular post where obviously the president has full authority to decide who's going to be in his circle. Absolutely just fine. And if you were the president of the United States, would you trust Alexander Vindman to be in your inner circle? Or his brother? See, his brother, remember his brother is part of that little agency that reviews books for publishing. And it just so happens that John Bolton's book went into that agency, and it just so happens that something leaked from that book. I wonder how that happened. Anyway, so back to Ace's version of this. By the way, have you noticed this odd couple of propositions urged by Democrats being by Democrats, the media, and never Trump, but I repeat myself thrice. Proposition 1. The presidency of the United States is a fairly trivial office whose occupant can be swapped out whenever the ruling class is upset. Upsetting the ruling class counts as an impeachable offense. Proposition 2. Low-ranking political appointees in the federal bureaucracy should have lifetime appointments and may not be removed from their positions ever, except by Democratic presidents. Insubordinate bureaucrats, even those who proudly declare they are part of the resistance, dedicated to undermining the civilian government they are a part of, have guaranteed lifetime tenure, and efforts to fire, demote, or sideline them are grossly unconstitutional and indeed an impeachable offense. See Proposition 1. Can this be? Can it really be that we can eject Trump from office on a whim of Adam Schiff's, but Lieutenant Colonel Vindman is guaranteed his paper-pushing job for life? Apparently so. This is the rule being urged. Quote, President Trump is making good on his promises to drain the swamp and cut Obama. Well, we already read that article. Meanwhile, the resistance, the person who penned a New York Times attack on Trump in 2018 and a book titled A Warning this year, has supposedly been identified. Let's get into that article. Oh, by the way, some people have showed up since I started. Good morning, Chi-Town Jay, Della Hayes, Duck Dog, Maddie, Jim S. is a new name, I think, maybe, kind of. Hit that subscribe button. Let's see, who else? And Reason Vision, what's up, my brother? All right. A report, White House has identified and will cut ties with an anonymous resistance official. The White House is identified and will be parting ways with the anonymous senior Trump administration official behind the critical editorial published in the New York Times editorial in September 2018 and recently published a book, A Warning, according to former U.S. Attorney Joe DiGenova. Why can't I say that man's name? Joe DiGenova. Who made the claim Monday morning on WMAL's Morning on the Mall. Senior White House officials have declined to comment on the subject. Quote, I am a part of the resistance inside the Trump administration, claimed the official in their anonymous New York Times op-ed. And this is this an excerpt? Let's see. President Trump is facing a test to his presidency, unlike any faced by a modern American leader. It's not just that the special counsel looms large, or that the country is bitterly divided over Trump's leadership, or even that his party might well lose the House to an opposition hell-bent on his downfall. The dilemma, which he does not fully grasp, is that many of the senior officials in his own administration are working diligently from within to frustrate parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. I would know. I am one of them. To be clear, ours is not a popular resistance of the left. We want the administration to succeed and think that many of its policies have already made America safer and more prosperous. So the coward who wrote this book didn't put their name on it because it is nothing but lies. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said about the release of the anonymous official book last year in a statement. Real authors reach out to their subjects and get things fact-checked, but this person is in hiding, making that a very basic part of being a real writer impossible. So that story is developing. Good. Drain the flippin' swamp, baby. Hello, Mike Savage. Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. Let's see here. What else was I going to read? Oh, also, there was a Trump rally in New Hampshire. So wasn't the Democratic primaries last night? I could have sworn that there was, or not primary, Democratic. Was it last night or was it Sunday night? When was the Democratic debate? Or whatever. Was that Sunday night? I don't know. It was. it was supposed to be a debate. Well, anyway, they're already voting in New Hampshire today, right? And last night, hey, check your logic. How you doing? Last night, Donald Trump had a rally in New Hampshire. According to Vince Conglianese, I don't know who this is. Who's this guy? I am told soon there will be somebody else leaving the White House who wrote. Oh, this is about the dickhead who they're getting rid of the anonymous dude. They're getting rid of blah, 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 blah. Yes, today is the New Hampshire primary. In fact, they had their first voting in whatever that little town of 12 people is, and Michael Bloomberg won that town. They all voted at midnight or something like that, and Mike Bloomberg won as a write-in candidate in that little town. I'm sure everyone's excited. Hello, Jen T. How you doing? Hello, time travelers from the future. Oh, okay. Yes, well, lots of people are up early today. Okay, so here's the Trump rally. Oh my God, this is 5 hours long. I'm not Dixville Notch. Thank you, Prospero, my official historian when she can make it. All right, let's see. You know, I'm gonna keep scrolling down the Ace blog here for a minute because there's a couple other stories that I found interesting that have nothing to do with politics, but they are, well, yes, they kind of do if you think about it. Exciting new development: transition to the other gender, and judges will let you out of jail as a reward. Woohoo! So, illegal aliens already have a blanket immunity from U.S. law, and now so do transgender people. The Iowa Attorney General's office is no longer seeking the commitment of a former Midwest Christian Services student convicted of a myriad of sex crimes because the individual now identifies as a woman. Yay! Court records show the state dismissed the application on January 9th. Attorney General spokesman Lynn Hicks wouldn't comment on the reason for the dismissal other than to say an offender's hormone level are an important part of substantiating an offender's likelihood of recidivism. Hi, Shiagrath. You came just in time. So, men with normal testosterone levels are to be jailed, but if you transition it to a parody of a woman, that's not nice, Ace. If you transition into a woman, then you are immune from legal punishment? Isn't that the same as criminalizing maleness, criminalizing the biological hormone that makes men men? It seems that sex-based differences are entirely in the mind and culturally constructed, and without any biological reality whatsoever, except when the opposite rule helps a transgender, tranny, he says, then everything about your biological makeup, all of a sudden, then everything's about your biological makeup. So Smith has received treatment for gender reassignment over the past 2 years at Newton Correctional Facility. She first expressed a desire to get started on transgender classification in October 2017 and started using female pronouns. Smith has expressed a preference to identify as Josie, according to court documents. So anyway, yeah, so they basically are letting this person go now after all this shit. Hello, Nicholas Daly. That's a name I'm not as familiar with. I'm glad you're here. Good morning, Rhetorical Entertainment also. So anyway, oh yeah, this is the Jessica Yaniv. We've already heard about her, him, whatever that person is. I don't care. But yeah, so yeah, it's pretty controversial in Iowa because apparently this person had some crimes and they're letting them out just because they transitioned. Now they're starting to relook at that case. I'm not so familiar with it. Oh, and also in the culture wars, by the way, Get Woke, Go Broke, patriarchy fighting movie Birds of Prey is the latest feminist identity politics bomb. Oscar ratings dropped 20% and hit new low. Just a couple things. I didn't talk about the Oscars the other day, but oh my God. I'm glad I didn't watch it, but I saw a few things on clips by people and whatever. Anyway, before getting to that, wait a minute. What? Not my doctor. Doctor Who Cares once again hits their new ratings low. Okay, that's something in the UK. I wanted to talk about that one thing. The DC comic movie Birds of Prey, which has constantly been promoted by its stars and Warner Brothers, as a fiercely feminist movie that fights everyday sexism and will defeat the male gaze, and which had its director as a woman who, as its director, a woman who had directed exactly one micro-budgeted movie, barely more than a student film, which had made $60,000 in its limited theatrical release, that's right, $60,000, has unexpectedly become the next woke disaster. Margot Robbie's latest will earn roughly $33 million when all the receipts are tallied tomorrow. That's a tragic number for multiple reasons. Birds of Prey had the weekend all to itself in an already soft marketplace. Superhero films, from the best to the worst, crush it at the box office. The early projections were in the 50 million range, and that seemed a conservative number. What went wrong? These 7 reasons rush to mind. Let's look at this article as the article. All right. Oh, okay. 7 reasons Birds of Prey flopped at the box office. Okay, let's find the reasons real quick. Get Woke, Go Broke, the actual film isn't the lecture palooza some, including this critic feared. Still, the framing of the film's release couldn't be woker. Co-star Ewan McGregor praised the film's feminist roots, saying it's a blow against the patriarchy. The film stars extolled how many women were working in front of and behind the camera. Gender progress is wonderful, but we've seen these woke campaigns crash and burn before. Plus, nearly every male character in the film is a heel, a cad, or much worse. McGregor's Black Mask is an overt villain, but even minor male characters, some of whom are painted as kindly at first, turn on our heroines. Another reason, where's the Joker? Sure, he's part of the supervillain patriarchy, but his ties to Harley Quinn's emancipation makes his absence unforgivable. He didn't need to steal the show, but letting him interact with Robbie's character would have added some necessary depth. What else? As Birds of Prey is lighter than a feather, and modern superhero themes soar higher with some storytelling gravitas. A third reason, that Ghostbusters campaign 2.0. Wonder Woman crushed at the box office without the benefit of woke cultural push. The same is true so far of the Black Widow standalone film coming in May. The box office forecasts are predictably robust for the Avengers spin-off project. These films didn't critique potential fans. They let the movies speak for themselves. By contrast, those Lady Ghostbusters... Whoa, we got a super chat from Cryptic. I'll read that in just a second. Those Lady Ghostbusters went on the offensive against potential fans 4 years ago. The media, in turn, served as the film's de facto PR firm. The Washington Post directly attacked male fans who dared critique the film's gender swap element. Well, it's happening again with Birds of Prey. That approach suggests to ticket buyers that the movie needs a boost. It's not solid enough to stand on its own. This movie is like a feminist bridge, and it crashed. Imagine my shock. Okay, there you go. Cryptic says, with a $2 super chat in the Streamlabs link down below, that movie seems please, let me start again. The movie seems foul. Oh, Birds of Prey. The movie seems foul. Oh, okay. Moving on. Another reason it's flopping, the indifferent trailers. Say what you want about 2016 Suicide Squad. The team behind that movie created killer trailers to gin up our interest. That made watching the actual film all the more dispiriting. But those teasers got us hooked. Birds of Prey trailers weren't Ghostbusters level bad, but they didn't make the case for the film like a great trailer should either. Male gaze, schmale gaze. Journalism Inc.'s reaction to Birds of Prey proved predictable. Reviews that overstated the film's content. Just take a gander at that gaudy Rotten Tomatoes score. Plus, film journalists cheered on the production's female-heavy nature and, of course, how the movie deconstructed the male gaze. The male gaze. If your eyes didn't roll over in that woke phrase, you're doing it wrong. And finally, there's two more. Villains, heroes, who knows? Now, superhero movies are complicated in the 21st century. Movies like Venom and the upcoming Morbius blur the lines between the good guys and the bad guys. The aforementioned Squad features supervillains teaming up to do the right thing. Up is down, right is wrong. We're growing used to those shades of gray. So, what do we make of these birds besides foul? Harley Quinn feels like a villain to the core. She's uber selfish, destructive, and breaks any law that crosses her path. Their prey pals don't fit that mold. Rosie Perez plays a cop, for example. Junie Smollett's Belle's Black Canary is good as gold with a voice to match. That mixed messaging didn't help at the box office. Yes, that is Junie Smollett, related to our favorite supervillain in the upper Midwest, Jussie Smollett. Mr. Vladimir, haven't seen you for a while. Glad you're here. I just saw an article saying Birds of Prey failed because there was no Chinese audience to watch it, basically blaming the coronavirus. Oh, well, possibly. I mean, there's a billion people in China, and they've got 3 epicenters of coronavirus, which, you know, I don't know. I'm not. This is the domestic box office that sucked. Let's just stay with that. And then finally, the Suicide Squad hangover. Yes, some audience enjoyed this 2016 romp despite the critical attacks. Chances are the film's limited charms are best enjoyed on the big screen. Bigger, louder. Did we say bigger? Now, with the movie living on cable and home video platforms, those perks shrink in size. That leaves us with the underwhelming story and darkly lit set pieces to state its case. See the problem? That doesn't help Birds of Prey. Sure, it's not a direct sequel to Squad, but the film's standout character, Harley Quinn, who's super hot in the comic books, I might add, and not so much in this movie, is the main attraction in Prey. So there you go. Hello, Jaeger Pony. Hello, Truckin' Bear. And we have another super chat from Cryptic, the $2 super chat, which you can participate in the Super Chat program and support the channel in the description down below or in the link in the chat. So Cryptic says, birds of a feather. Am I right? Yes, you are right, Cryptic. Thank you so much for the $2 chat of superness. All right, moving on from, let's get back into more of my usual stuff. Okay, hang on a second here and make a couple clicks. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, I was going to do some quotes of the day from yesterday, but I don't think so. And if you're a Prey type, pray for Jordan Peterson. He's having some tough times. I'm not going to get into it. You can look it up. He's having some very difficult times right now. Alrighty then. So we already talked about the 2 reports. We're getting rid of the 70 Obama holdovers in the White House, or excuse me, the NSC, National Security Council, which is in the White House organization, and the anonymous resistance official who wrote the New York Times article. But it's interesting, you know, this thing with Vindman and Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Sondland was, I think, or let's see, Ambassador Sondland. Anyway, a little editorializing on this is in order. On Friday, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was escorted from the White House, where he had served on the National Security Council. His twin brother, Lieutenant Colonel Yevgeny Vindman, was also dismissed from the NSC. Alexander Vindman had testified against President Trump in the House impeachment proceedings. He had listened in on the president's phone call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and testified that Trump had abused his office by withholding aid to Ukraine until it announced investigations of his political opponents. Actually, what Alexander really did, he went and told his little CIA friend, the whistleblower, Ambassador EU. Thank you. I get it all mixed up. He forwarded information on a call that he shouldn't have, and he was insubordinate. But is what it is. Reportedly, Alexander is believed to be the primary source of information for alleged whistleblower EC. I'm just going to say EC. I'm not going to say his name a lot because you still get yeeted on YouTube for saying his name. Although Yevgeny did not testify, there were unconfirmed reports that he may have had a role in leaking parts of former Ambassador John Bolton's anti-Trump book manuscript, which is embargoed and under review at the NSC. Yes, he is in that department. Alexander's lawyer and the mainstream media are denouncing these dismissals as unjustified retaliations by President Trump. To hear them tell it, a position on the NSC is an entitlement that may not be rescinded. Within hours of the Vindman being put out the door, Gordon Sondland, who testified about Trump's Ukraine dealings during House impeachment hearings, announced that the president intends to recall me effective immediately as United States ambassador to the European Union. Sondland testified that his assumption that Trump had engaged in a quid pro quo exchange of U.S. military aid to Ukraine in return for that country's assistance in investigating the corrupt Ukrainian dealings of Vice President Joe Biden and his wastrel son. Only after being pinned down on cross-examination did Sondland finally admit that, contrary to Sondland's assumption, Trump had explicitly told him that he wanted nothing from Ukraine other than for Zelensky to clean up that country's culture of corruption. As described by the hysterical media, you would think that President Trump had settled all family business in a manner portrayed in The Godfather's climactic scene in which Michael Corleone had the heads of New York's 5 mafia families whacked. But the truth is altogether to the contrary. In May of this year, Alexander Vindman will enroll in the Army War College. This is a highly sought and selective program and a singular opportunity to advance one's military's careers. It is open only to the favored few who are being groomed for top leadership positions in the military. Now, I would be a little wary of even letting him do that, but that's just me. Similarly, Yevgeny Vindman is set to work in the office of the General Counsel of the Army at the Pentagon. Neither this assignment nor the slot at the Army War College can be considered as punitive. Put another way, neither qualifies as the equivalent of being reduced in rank and placed in charge of the PX at Camp Frostbite, Alaska. As for Sondland, he is a hotel magnate who was a big contributor to Trump's 2016 campaign. Recalling him is not the equivalent of terminating the livelihood of a career State Department official. Sondland can go back to his day job of running his hotel empire. And since the Obama regime is no longer in charge, he can do so without the fear of the IRS auditing his company, OSHA inspecting his hotels, and ICE vetting his employees. As retaliation goes, removing the Vindmans from the National Security Council and stripping Sondland of his ambassadorship is pretty weak shit. Okay, that's not what the article says, but that's what I say. It's weak sauce. Let's just put it that way. Which raises the troubling question as to whether or not such pallid measures will be enough to deter others who may wish to emulate Sondland and the Vindman twins in any future coup attempt. That's a good point. There are now reports that the House Democrats are gearing up for another impeachment. Given the positive effect the last impeachment had on the Trump's approval rating, and campaign financing, you might think that the House Democrats would be disinclined to do it again. But then such a conclusion would be premised on the belief that these people are rational. They are not. When it comes to Trump, they are bat guano crazy and consumed with the kind of frustration and uncontrolled rage that drove Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi to publicly debase and embarrass herself by tearing up the President's State of the Union address. Such the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. But they are a little bit insane. While expecting a different result, you can count on the Democrats, again, impeaching Trump at least once between now and... They're saying the November election. They might try it. I think it's nuts if they do, but just seal the deal. Seal the deal. Seal the deal. You know what I'm saying? Seal the damn deal. I think they'll try it at least 3 or 4 more times between now and January 20th, 2025. Anyway, that is why President Trump should seriously consider taking firm and decisive punitive action to discourage all deep state partisans from promoting yet another impeachment hoax. In that regard, he has a positive obligation to the nation to make clear to one and all that they will pay a heavy price if they meticulously participate in any future attempted coup. Zvinman and Sondland got off relatively unscathed, but if other deep state denizens remain to be called to account, the president needs to take off the gloves? Well, or put on the boxing gloves or something. I don't know, but I am a little bit confused as to the, well, this is Trump being generous. I don't know, man. I'm not ready for. I'm wondering when he's going to get down to business. Although there are plenty of criminal cases that could possibly come up. By the way, did you hear that Attorney General Bill Barr is reviewing some of Rudy Giuliani's evidence? This has Democrats screaming. Bill Barr dooms Joe Biden, confirms DOJ reviewing Rudy Giuliani's Ukraine evidence. So if you weren't aware, Rudy Giuliani's been going around the world finding evidence on what exactly this deal with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all this stuff going on in Ukraine with this company. And you got to remember who Giuliani is. Giuliani is not just some crackpot former mayor of New York City. Okay? First of all, Giuliani was a very effective mayor of New York City who did a pretty damn good job cleaning up the city. Before Giuliani came into office, New York City, if you go to Times Square, it's pretty much peep shows and porn theaters and hookers and whatnot. And New York City has kind of gone back into its glory, and it's been back in its glory since Giuliani was mayor of the city. Cleaned up that city. Before that, he was a United States attorney who cleaned up corruption and actually was successful at fighting the mob. He's a very skilled prosecutor. So when Giuliani decides that he's going to go do a little research, he's probably pretty damn good at it. Now, sure, he's a little older than he was then, but I don't think that those skills actually wane. Well, here's the story. Joe Biden just got some very bad news, as did Hunter Biden. Last week, we learned that a few GOP senators have requested financial information on Hunter and partners and their related businesses. They also demanded Secret Service travel information on Hunter's travels with Vice President Joe Biden. But the big wild card has always been Rudy Giuliani and what smoking gun he claims to have found. Barr made it clear anything coming from Ukraine would be treated as extremely suspect, but he said it was his obligation to check into whatever Rudy found. And for that reason, we had established an intake process in the field so that any information coming in about Ukraine could be carefully scrutinized by the department and its intelligence community partners so that we could assess its provenance and its credibility. And that is true for all information that comes to the department relating to Ukraine, including anything Mr. Giuliani might provide, Barr said, effectively dooming Biden and his campaign. From Bloomberg, Attorney General William Barr acknowledged for the first time Monday that President Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has been giving the Justice Department information he collected in Ukraine, essentially bringing what was a stealth campaign into official government channels. Barr said, however, that information coming from Ukraine must be carefully vetted to ensure it is accurate and authentic, which is much more than they did originally with Christopher Steele's nonsense. This is getting so interesting. The DOJ has the obligation to have an open door to anybody who wishes to provide information that they think is relevant, Barr told reporters during a news conference in Washington. We have to be very careful with respect to any information coming from Ukraine. There are a lot of agendas in the Ukraine, and there are a lot of cross currents, and we can't take anything received from Ukraine at face value. But Barr didn't specify what kind of information Giuliani has been providing. Trump's personal lawyer has previously said he has been collecting information about the activities of former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter in Ukraine. Giuliani's efforts became a central factor in Trump's impeachment for pressuring the Ukrainian government to announce investigations into the Bidens to help his reelection. So anyway, Barr had his press conference, and Giuliani says that he's actually found evidence of money laundering and other things. He's been interviewing on mostly on Fox News, but which I've seen a few of them on YouTube. I don't really watch any of the corporate news. I don't like any of them, but I will watch clips here and there just to get a good chuckle. Okay, you gotta watch Don Lemon clips on YouTube once in a while. It's just funny to watch him. But anyway, so could be some trouble for the Bidens. I don't know. Prospero says the Treasury has sent a dump of info to the Senate regarding the Biden stuff too. Yeah, I know. In fact, apparently there's been a series of money transfers related to the to that board of directors of Burisma, and apparently as they're looking at some of those records, they're finding out that for some reason Hunter Biden and his, I can't remember the business partner, but that were both on that board, they can't seem to find records of them being paid, but then there's the records of these millions of dollars being transferred multiple times, which is kind of a money laundering technique. And so it's like, so they're trying to figure out, well, where did that money end up? Did it end up in the pockets of anyone named Biden, perhaps? I don't know. Hey, old grouchy gamer, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. By the way, while you're here, if you haven't already done so, just my little shill here. First of all, Morning Night Live, we're here 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. GMT, Monday through Friday, if you didn't already know that. Also, please, while you're here, hit the share button. If you haven't hit the like button, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what I'm saying, please hit that thumbs up that says like next to it. PDawg, however, has the exclusive permission to hit the thumbs down button, because that's just something between me and PDawg. Also, if you'd like, or if you can, share the stream. Hit the share arrow down below, or follow me on Twitter. I tweet the show out pretty much most every day, or I'll retweet someone else's tweet, and you can retweet that, or you can hit the share arrow, put it on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever you do on those social media things. And then finally, if you'd like to be a permanent part of the show, a permanent part of the record, guarantee your spot as a permanent part of the record of the Morning Night Live on all replays. Super chats are available at the Streamlabs link down below, or often it will show up in the chat. And also you can support the channel. I gotta build that studio, so we're working on that. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Oh, did you hear this one? This is great. This was awesome. So, the Democrats had filed this emoluments lawsuit. Like 100, I think it was 187 Democrats. Is that right? 186 in the House and 29 in the Senate filed a lawsuit against President Trump, claiming that he was violating the emoluments clause of the Constitution. And it went, now the first judge, I think, might have said, okay, we'll do this. And then the appeals court said, no, he's not. Well, here's an interesting little tidbit. Now, I keep saying to you that the whole impeachment thing and everything, them trying to remove Trump and at least try to get him damaged before the next election, has to do with 3 words. 3 words. And those 3 words that the Democrats are fighting so hard to make sure that he's not reelected are Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Well, I am sure, much to the Democrats' chagrin, a Ruth Bader Ginsburg opinion helped Trump beat the Democrats' emoluments lawsuit. You just couldn't write this one. This is so precious to me. I find it quite humorous. President Donald Trump had an unlikely ally in his fight against an anti-corruption lawsuit from congressional Democrats. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut is leading a coalition of 186 House members and 29 senators alleging that the president has unlawfully profited from foreign patronage at the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C., in violation of an ethics provision in the Constitution called the Foreign Emoluments Clause. A 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit dismissed the lawsuit on February 7th. On technical grounds, relying in part on a 2019 Ginsburg opinion. The Foreign Emoluments Clause provides that government officials may not accept any present emolument, office, or title from foreign entities without congressional approval. Democratic lawmakers sued Trump because he is accruing profits from various foreign actors at his Washington hotel without congressional authorization. The lawmakers said Trump's failure to obtain congressional approval for his business activities has completely nullified the votes the Constitution authorizes legislators to take on the emoluments issue, giving them a basis or standing in legal parlance for their lawsuit. The D.C. Circuit disagreed, saying that the plaintiff lawmakers have no basis for their suit. A panel explained that individual members of a legislature have no standing to protect the legislature's institutional interest in court. That's because legislatures exercise power as a body through a majority vote. Power does not belong to any particular member. The Supreme Court first said as much in a 1997 case called Raines. Ginsburg reiterated that principle in her 2019 majority opinion in Virginia House of Delegates versus Bethune-Hill, a case involving a fight over racially gerrymandered legislative districts. Ginsburg's opinions in Bethune-Hill puts paid to any doubt regarding the member's lack of standing, the D.C. Circuit said. After Raines of Bethune-Hill, only an institution can assert an institutional injury, Friday's decision reads. Our conclusion is straightforward. Because the members, 29 senators and 186 members of the House of Representatives, do not constitute a majority of either body and are, therefore, powerless to approve or deny the president's acceptance of foreign emoluments, decision adds. So basically they're saying that members cannot represent the entire body, and so they sued as part of the entire body of the legislative branch, which they are not they're not a majority of. They can't represent the entire body, and thus a Ruth Bader Ginsburg ruling. A Ruth Bader Ginsburg ruling undermines the Democrats in this case. That is just too damn precious. Oh my goodness. I'm just rolling. Hello. Hey Six, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning. God, it's you know what? It's like the Democrats right now. I mean, they're taking a lot of L's this week. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know that they're not going to take L's forever. So don't just sit on your haunches thinking that they're going to keep taking L's. But they are doing their best impression of Wile E. Coyote, aren't they? It's just it's pretty amazing. All right, let's oh, now I didn't even see this one. Here, let's check this one out. Apparently, let's see. KGO radio host. Oh, some radio host has threatened Devin Nunes. Everyone knows Devin Nunes. You know Devin Nunes. You remember Devin Nunes? Here, let me put a hashtag about Devin Nunes in the chat. Oops. There we go. That Devin Nunes. You know the Devin Nunes that was right about the FISA warrants? The one which Adam Schiff was wrong about the FISA warrants. Remember, Nunes was right. Schiff was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Schiff was wrong. Nunes was right. Anyway, KGOAM host threatens Nunes for calling the media hostile. You ain't seen hostile yet, you emasculated pissant. Oh my God! And it's a San Francisco radio host calling him an emasculated pissant. That's special, isn't it? All right. A San Francisco radio host responded to Representative Devin Nunes' claim that liberal media are hostile to Republicans by threatening to make his life's work to harass him. Oh, good for you. On Sunday, KGOAM host Chip Franklin replied to an article in The Federalist titled "Devin Nunes says Trump's most important accomplishment is outing a hostile media" by posting a vulgar tweet declaring, "You ain't seen hostile yet," and calling him a fuckknuckle and an emasculated pissant. Here's the tweet. "Hostile? You ain't seen nothing yet, you emasculated pissant. After you lose your seat, I will make it my life's mission to harass any and all businesses who offer you work. I know your type. You fold like a discounted lawn chair. Tick-tock, fuckknuckle." Well, you know, I'm pretty confident that Mr. Nunes, at least so far, has been right. You know, come on, dude. I mean, is that the problem? Chip Franklin, is that the problem, that he's been right and you just can't get over the fact that he has been right? I just, I'm just saying, it's fascinating. Oh, I never hit the story over here. So anyway, as CNS News reported, Representative Nunes made the comments in an interview last Thursday on Fox News Channel's The Ingram Angle, in which he called the liberal media left-wing assassins that Republicans should shun. The most important, here's added to that. Anyway, the most important thing that the president has done of all the things that he's done that are very important, but, what? Okay, wait a minute. Let me reread this sentence. What? Reread the sentence. Spam the share button, folks. Would it be awesome if we get 100 people to watch PDawg this morning? That would be cool too. Yes, thank you so much, Genty. That would be great. And you know what? I'd love to even see like 3 or 4 new subscribers today. It's been going up. I'm almost 8. Guess what? I need less than 20 to get to 600 now. And I got to get to 1,000 before July. Remember? Because that's when we're going to be on the road. out in the East Coast, and I want to live stream during our road trip, and not just the Morning Night Live, just general live streaming with me and Lady Boomer, because I know a lot of you loved listening to me and Lady Boomer travel. It can be hilarious. So anyway, Nunes continues. The media in this town has been corrupt. It took somebody like Trump to finally bring them out of their shell to where now they're just open. They just openly go out. They'll tweet about it late at night. They get drunk. They send drunk tweets out, and they're vicious to him and Republicans. And I continue to try to get our Republicans to wake up in the Capitol. We should not be talking to the mainstream media. They are assassins. They are working for the other team, which I would have to say, yes, they kind of are. Anyway, so yeah, so now there's people in the media threatening Nunes. Oh, shocker. Like they've never done that before. God, I need the coffee going here. By the way, good morning, Ezub and Marsupial Gamer. Oh, what? TYT, the Young Turks, just received $500,000 from YouTube/Google. Anyone still doubt their corporate news? You know what? That's, oh my God. I'm still wondering what they did with the $20 million they got from Katzenberg. Because they're out there begging for memberships. For those, everyone knows the Young Turks. I'm pretty sure all of you know the Young Turks are. I mean, they're out there, they're begging for membership. They had a big membership drive. They're cutting down on staff. They got rid of his nephew, but that's because he's a dumbass and said some stupid shit. But but now they get $500,000 from YouTube. I wonder how directly involved Susan was with that. That's just annoying. They are so bad, but they toe the corporate line for the most part. Although this year they seem to be really invested in Bernie again. But I'll tell you what, if Bernie doesn't get the nomination, they will toe the corporate line anyway. Let's see, what else have we seen in the chat here? Spam the share. Okay, we got that. Thank you. How about I hit the spam? Okay, yes. Hit spam, whatever you want to do with that share button. My mate's addicted to wanking over shellfish. He gets his kicks on Prawn Hub. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, Sheagrath, I forget how funny you are. Oh, and we have another super chat. From, I believe, oh my gosh, this must be Willie Fisterbottom's cousin, or at least from the same town, because it has kind of a similar surname. Willie Fisterpuss says, speaking of fuckduckle, yes, I hope you're talking about Shank there, Shank Uger of the Young Turks. Thank you, Willie Fisterpuss. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, dude. Okay, so now you're gonna see this in trending today, but I do got to bring this up. Michael Bloomberg. Okay, so Michael Bloomberg's been making some. He's kind of been making some inroads by throwing his money around, right? He got himself into one of the debates. Because they changed the rules for him because he gave the Democratic Party or DNC $135 million? I can't remember what the amount was. But he gave him some crazy amount of money. Maybe it was just $350,000. Whatever he gave the DNC, he gave them a bunch of money, and he's been spending money on ads left and right. And the DNC, look, it does not hurt the DNC at all to have the. It doesn't hurt the DNC at all to have Bloomberg out there running for president, because he's got tons of money spent. He's got ads going left and right, and he probably has zero chance of becoming their nominee. But he can bash Trump all he wants, and he has the money to do it ad nauseum. And so for them to have him involved probably isn't terrible, unless he starts to gain traction with voters. And then they're going to have to fight with him being a former Republican and all this other shit, right? Well, I'll finish that thought after I say good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. Hello, gayest person on YouTube. And yes, the surname. Oh, that surname is offensive now. It has to be changed to Fister Front Hole. Well, but that's Willie's name. It's Fisterpuss. Okay, whatever. So anyway, Bloomberg's now suddenly, because remember who Bloomberg is. Now, Bloomberg's a former mayor of New York City who implemented the stop and frisk program. Remember that? The stop and frisk. And, you know, in some ways, look, well, I'm not going to say anything. Let me just read this article. Let me just show you this article real quick. Technocratic racism. Bloomberg allegedly advocates for targeting minorities in an explosive video. Now, you're going to see this today. On Twitter, and I see if it's still trending, that racist Bloomberg. Explosive audio was released on Monday that allegedly showed Democratic presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg defending his stop and frisk policies at a 2015 Aspen Institute appearance by saying that law enforcement should target minorities because that's where the crime is. Now, don't start throwing statistics at me. I know all the statistics. Don't care. As far as some validation or validness to that, whatever. Good morning, Merle Davis. How you doing? Hi, Becca. I didn't say hi to you yet. I just realized I didn't do that, and I saw you earlier. Good morning, Becca, and also good morning to Merle Davis. Now, going back to this Bloomberg thing. Regardless of anything that has to do with anything he just said, the truth or non-truth of that statement's not going to play well with the brothers. I'm just telling you right now, it is not. The audio is released by podcast host Benjamin Dixon, who encouraged people to share it far and wide. But Benjamin Dixon he's a former, I don't know if it's the Maryland NAACP or whatever, but anyway, in the audio, Bloomberg allegedly says, now here's the thing, Benjamin Dixon, I'm pretty sure is a Bernie dude, but just doesn't matter. That's regardless. In the audio, Bloomberg allegedly says 95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 16 to 25. That's true in New York. That's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. Now, regardless of the veracity of that statement, Bloomberg was starting to make some inroads with the brothers. Well, people that I call the brothers and sisters. Okay? That ain't gonna play well. No matter, even though he just recently apologized for his stop and frisk policies, everyone used to say, hey, this policy is absolutely racist. And now, Bloomberg, running for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States, the former independent, before that, the former Republican, but I digress. That statement ain't gonna play well. I'm just saying. Uh-oh, it's hammer time. Oh, I just broke into that. I gotta hit that click. I want that hammer time. I'm gonna have a hammer time button. Watch. Good morning, Hammer. How you doing? MC. And cameraman Jay. Now, he continues. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that are getting killed. Bloomberg continued. I want to see, because I want to see the death rate for young black men to be reduced myself. I mean, that's absolutely something I want to see. And stop and frisk wasn't racist the way it used was. Right. I have a vested interest, at least in spirit. We all have a vested interest to have that stop happening. Okay? Anyway, here he goes. He says, you got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that are getting killed. Bloomberg continued, you want to spend the money on a lot of cops in the streets. Put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. That's not going to play well with the brothers. So, one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you're arresting kids for marijuana that are all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Bloomberg continued, yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them up against the walls and frisk them. And then they start saying, oh, I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home. Dixon also tweeted out a 2015 article from the Aspen Times that stated that Bloomberg blocked the footage from his speech from being released. Mike Bloomberg representatives have asked the Aspen Institute not to distribute footage of his recent appearance in Aspen, where the three-term New York City mayor made pointed comments concerning minorities and gun control, the Aspen Times reported. Both the Institute and Grassroots TV, the organization that filmed the event, confirmed Thursday that they will not broadcast the footage online or on television as planned. The Aspen Institute's Chief External Affairs Officer, Jim Spiegelman, said at the time, we basically honor the wishes of our speakers, and Mayor Bloomberg preferred that we not use the video for broadcast. He did not give a reason, nor did we have any reason to ask for one. We often feature speakers who prefer that their presentations not be videotaped. The audio sparked intense reactions online from across the political spectrum. Shocker. Abdul El Sayed wrote, this is verbatim the argument that Mike Bloomberg made when I questioned him about stop and frisk in 2012 at a PD Soros retreat. It is technocratic racism at its most virulent, the kind that hides its immorality in the veneer of amorality. Bernie Sanders' National Press Secretary responded by writing, this should be playing on mainstream news channels as frequently as the ads with which billionaire Bloomberg has saturated the market. Oh my God. And he's trying to penetrate the Democratic Party. Yeah, Real Clear Politics. Mark Henry wrote, "Ooh boy, this is bad." Yeah, really? Here, let's listen. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to one of these. And we're gonna we'll get into the hashtags later. Actually, we're about to get into that anyway. So here, let's listen to Mike Bloomberg here.
Murderers, and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minority, distant, one cop. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. She's going to be wanting to spend the money for a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So it's one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana that are all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. And then they say, oh, I don't want to gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
Mike, dude. Oh, and you know, the problem is, the problem stated may be accurate in some ways, but man, the way you do it, yes. Someone said, yeah, Seamus Derby, how you doing? Violation of the Fourth Amendment. Yes, it is. And oh my God. But you know, it will be interesting. This thing's all over Twitter today. Okay. It is all over Twitter, and we'll get to the trends right now. We're about to go into Twitter trends to find out what's going on in the world today and what people are going to be talking about tomorrow. Yes, and possession is not a crime either. You know, possession of a weapon is, unless you, well, I don't know what it's like in New York City, but the possession part is, it has to be legal though. It has to be a legal weapon, and a lot of the kids with guns and committing crimes have weapons that are stolen or have other issues. Let's put it that way. Oh my goodness! By the way, quick thank yous to some of the people in the chat. Thank you, oops, wait a minute. Well, Tim Gersh from yesterday. I didn't say thank you yesterday for tweeting out yesterday's show. Thank you so much if you happen to be here. Also, thank you to Becca Farley, Maddie House of Geek, Tyler F, Truckin' Bear, Chi-Town Jade, Necrosaw Collins, and Green Thunder Mighty, all who tweeted out the show this morning. Also, if you shared it through some other sources, thank you so much. It's the best way to help the channel grow. Real quick, another super chat from Cryptic, who says, "Shocked, I tell ya, Dems are racist." Shocked. Dems are racist? Really? Shocked. Anyway, hi, hello, Zombie Teddy. Good morning. All right. We've got quite the crowd in here today. I like it. All right. We got over 40 people in here today. That's awesome. All right, let's get into the Twitter trends, see what's trending today. And we know one of the things is going to be trending. We'll hit that in a minute. Let me hit the tab, though, see what they have up on the main page. Uh-oh. There's a shakeup in the Democratic Party. Well, I don't know if this is a shakeup, but apparently Amy Klobuchar wins first two of the first New Hampshire primary tallies, while Michael Bloomberg takes Dixville Notch. Dixville Notch. That sounds like someplace Cryptic would visit. Or Sheograph. I know one of you got a joke. I know you do. I know one of you got a joke for Dixville Notch. Let's see who gets there first. All right. Klobuchar wins first two New Hampshire primary tallies, while Bloomberg takes Dixville Notch. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, Hold on. I almost said the great senator. The senator from the great state of Minnesota, which I reside, and anyway, I'm not going to say anything about her. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar won Hart's location and Millsfield, two of the first three New Hampshire precincts, which traditionally vote at the stroke of midnight on primary day. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg took the remaining polling location of the traditional but tiny Dixville Notch with 3 write-in votes. Because Dixville Notch has a population of 12, and I only think like 5 or 6 vote. And so he got 3 of those votes in Dixville Notch. He won Dixville Notch! Woohoo! I cannot chat live with Tim Gersh because YouTube hates me. Oh, well, that's a bummer. Anyway, the remote Amy Klobuchar winner was the very early winner. Tuesday, as the first votes were cast in the New Hampshire primary election shortly after midnight. 3 remote hamlets in New Hampshire kicked off the state's first in the nation's primary just after midnight Tuesday, with Amy Klobuchar winning the most Democratic votes so far. Wow. First, she'll take add a notch on your Dixville. Okay. There you go. Congratulations, Senator Klobuchar. I don't know that your lead will last, but good for you for having a lead at any point in this primary. All right, let's check out what's trending on Twitter real quick. Get the show more. Right now, number 1 trend, because it's Tuesday, of course, Tuesday Thoughts is trending as opposed to Tuesday Thoughts. I make the same joke every time, and I'll take a sip of my reparations coffee before I begin. There we go. While it's loading. Whoa, what's that sound? Did you ever hear a high-pitched sound? Anyway, that just must be in my head. All right, Liberty Nation, not to be confused with Liberty Hangout, which I had been confusing. Liberty Nation is a kind of a libertarian, conservative libertarian website versus Liberty Nation, which is the curly-haired gun girl chick who drives me nuts, Caitlin, whatever the hell her name is. Anyway, Liberty Nation on Tuesday Thoughts says the Federal Reserve is an entity that manipulates the economy, distorts financial markets, and benefits the corridors of power in Washington and on Wall Street. Yet, remarkably, the Democrats have been quiet about it. That's a thought. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just open that. The Federal Reserve is a drug pusher. That's an interesting way to put it. I'm just gonna copy and paste that. I enjoy their articles. They're very interesting and thought-provoking. So I'm just gonna put that article in the chat. You can read that one yourself. Let's see if we can find another one. Okay. Oh goody. Someone named Lola dropped mic again. Says, "Oh goody. It's that time of the year when we get to talk about the annual fiscal budget and learn all the things government will continue to waste our money on until someone goes through the entire budget line by line, item by item, crossing out all bullshit funding. This will be me." You know what? I wish there was someone back who ran for president. I want to say, I think somewhere in 96 or something that they called it the penny plan, where all government departments would be forced to reduce their budget by 1%. Or was it their growth, remain their growth at 1%? See, here's the problem. Whenever you hear any Democrats or Republicans, when they talk about, oh, they're going to cut funding for this, or they're going to cut funding for that, most of the time it's not even about cutting funding. You hear this most when it comes to education funding, because I hear this in my state all the time. And they come around, was it Perot that did the penny plan? I can't remember. But they always say, oh, we're cutting the budget for education. But when you look at the actual budget from that year, let's say 1996 to 1997, well, the budget went up 10% between those 2 years. Well, wait a minute. I did not say good morning to Kingslayer Damocles. Sorry about that. And also, good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. How you doing? They always say, oh, but it went, but the budget went up 10%. What the F are you talking about? Oh, what they really meant is they had a proposed budget and somebody cut something out of the proposed budget, which the proposed budget was more than the prior budget, but because they cut something out of that proposed budget, they cut the increase in the spending that they were planning, and thus they call that a budget cut, which is the biggest crock of bullshit. Right now, I wish they would just have, like, when I was a kid, I told you about this, I got to speak in front of the Nebraska legislature because the legislature was proposing what they called a lid bill, which they were going to propose a freeze in spending on education, or at least the education budgets, for 3 years. Okay, and because I was a kid and didn't have anything in front of the front part of my brain, I for sure thought that they were going to take away my band and sports and everything else. And so for some reason I got chosen to go speak in front of the legislature because they use kids as a human shield. So I was a human shield at one time. And, but even then, that lid bill allowed for like an increase, a smaller percentage increase in spending, but just not what they're used to, just keep constantly going up and up and up and up. And that's what they do. And I just, anyway, that's a tangent on Tuesday Thoughts. Let's move down and see if Ms. Krasenstein. So one of the Krasenstein's brothers, who tweets under his wife's handle, Donald Trump is now trying to significantly cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. If you are over the age of 62 or plan to live that long, ask yourself this. What's more important, my Social Security and health care, or a stupid wind-prone wall? Exactly. Significantly cut. I really want to see what they mean by significantly cut. Also, you know, he puts a budget out, and are we allowed to cut anything in our budget? I don't know. Are we? Okay, let's have a really good Tuesday Thought. And then we'll take from A.A. Milne, who's the writer of Winnie the Pooh. So this will be our thought. We're going to move on. Ernie Chambers. Yes, Ernie Chambers was there, Mr. Scott. He was in the legislature. Is he still in the legislature? He's the Nebraska, what do they call him? Just legislator from North Omaha. Yeah, Ernie Chambers was, I think he first got elected to now in Nebraska, they have what's called a unicameral government. There's no House and Senate. They just have a single chamber. And Ernie Chambers was from North Omaha, and it's funny because he's this black dude. My parents liked Ernie Chambers just because he was so, just so in your face. But everyone in the legislature would be wearing suits and ties and shit, and he would be wearing a sweatshirt with cut off sleeves. It was great. He was just, anyway, I mean, he was a civil rights activist, and he got elected from North Omaha. But anyway, good question, Mr. Scott. That tells me that you know something. Are you still in Nebraska, Mr. Scott? Yeah, I know how they fund schools in Nebraska. That's where I grew up. I went to Omaha Central, Mr. Scott. That's where I graduated high school from. Anyway, so AA Milne, the actual Tuesday thought of the day, from Winnie the Pooh. I don't much mind if it rains or snows, because I've got a lot of honey on my nice new nose. I don't care if it snows or thaws, because I've got a lot of honey on my nice clean paws. Sing ho for a poo. I'll have a little something in an hour or two. There we go. There's our actual thought of the day. That's for Tuesday Thoughts. Moving on. Number 2, Tuesday. Oh, that was number 2. Number 1 was actually a third look at 7. That's K-pop. Patrice, help me. Help me. Okay, I'll click it this time, but it's going to be very quick. Okay. In Greek mythology, the pomegranate was known as the fruit of the dead and believed to have sprung from the blood of Adonis. I'm not sure why that is, but that's my, okay, there's my 30 seconds of K-pop for the day. All right, I'm moving on. Number 3, Bloomberg is racist. Well, I just wonder how this is going to affect Michael Bloomberg as far as his campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination. But apparently, this says JFC, and I thought the other clip was bad. Let's listen to this clip of Michael Bloomberg.
They just keep saying, oh, it's a disproportionate percentage of a particular ethnic group. That may be, but it's not a disproportionate percentage of those who witnesses and victims describe as committing the murder. In that case, incidentally, I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little. They just
now that may be fact, that may be statistically accurate, that may be whatever you want to call it, but that's not gonna get Mike Bloomberg elected by black people. Sorry. It's just not. Sorry, Mike. Oh, and here we go. Mike Bloomberg. Oh, apparently he's played golf with the devil himself. Things like this is not gonna get Mike Bloomberg elected. And was this since he's been president? He is a short little dude, though. Trump is 6'4", though. So Trump's going to make a lot of people look short. Oh, have you seen the kid lately? What's his kid's name? The 13-year-old? He's huge. Barron Trump. Have you seen pictures of him lately? Like walking with his parents? He's taller than Trump, and Trump's 6'4", and he's only 13. Get that kid a basketball, brother. Either a basketball or a baseball. Could you imagine a 6'5", 6'6" pitcher if he knew how to throw a baseball? I don't know. Anyway, that's a tangent. So we all know why the Bloomberg is racist thing's going out. So I think, you know what? If you're a Trump supporter who wants some laughs today, check out the hashtag Bloomberg is racist hashtag to see what spending $350 million buys you in 2020. Canceled, no refunds. The conservatives on Twitter are having a field day with this, and so are the So are the lefties. Let's see. Mrs. Krasenstein. Mrs. Krasenstein's tweeting on this. Whichever Krasenstein's brother it is. Do you all realize that hashtag like Bloomberg is racist or Mayor Cheat start trending between 2 and 5 a.m.? Yes, that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Moscow. Stop falling for this crap. Give me a freaking... It's all Russia. It's always Russia. You know that? You know what? Maybe... Just maybe. Now, Krasenstein's on the East Coast, so 2 to 5 a.m. Well, that would be, 10 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. West Coast time too, wouldn't it? So, is that right? Let's see. Yeah, so 3, 4, 5. 6 a.m. Between 6 a.m. No, 10 a.m. What? No, before, backwards. 2. Yeah. So it just made that these trends start on the West Coast. I mean, Los Angeles County has 20 million people in it. Okay, it's bigger than 36 states. You could just trend on the West Coast in the largest state in the union. Could that be possible, Miss Krasenstein? Just saying. But white people stop too much by the cops. Oh my God. This is just, Mike Bloomberg. Here's from The Intercept. Mike Bloomberg exploited prison labor to make 2020 presidential campaign phone calls. Now remember, as soon as he figured that out, he ended that, right? So let's just whatever. Oh my God, Benjamin Dixon. He's the dude who used to be part of the NAACP. Oh, but now of course they have to add Donald Trump being a racist. Oh, no vacancies for blacks. This is from the New York Times, of course. They've got a hit piece on Trump out now too. But anyway, Bloomberg is racist. The New York Times trying to hold Bloomberg's water. Moving on, trending number 4, Women in Science Day. Today, let's see, 10 women in science you should know, from Alice Ball, who developed groundbreaking treatment for leprosy, to Maria Winkleman, the first woman to discover a new comet, whose husband took credit for her achievement. 10 women in science. It is it National Women's Science Day or International Women's Science Day? It's International Day of Women and Girls in Science. So, so there you go. So for the 10 to 15% of women who dominate the science fields, or in the science fields, oh, that was wrong. That was wrong. You know what? Here's the thing. We spend a lot of time talking about STEM and science and whatever. Science, math, engineering and technology. Do y'all realize, when they say, oh, there's not enough women in STEM. There's not enough women in STEM. Do you realize that if you take all the STEM fields, all of the STEM fields, and medicine, that's the 4th one. If you take all of the STEM fields, and including women who are in STEM majors in colleges, women represent just over 50% of all the STEM fields. Now, you must be wondering. Now, wait a minute. We've been told that, there's only that women aren't in STEM fields enough. Here's where you get caught up. When a lot of people say STEM field, they're talking about computer science, computer engineering, or engineering, whatever. But they forget about the other side of STEM fields. Pharmaceuticals, medicine, veterinary science. Those particular fields of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and medicine, are dominated by women. So, I asked my son, because my son was a computer science major in college, and I was just curious. This is when the James Damore thing came out and shit. So, in your computer science classes, about how many of the people in class are women, because they were talking about how only 20% of the people in Silicon Valley are women. And I asked him, well, how many, roughly how many women are in your classes in your college computer science classes? He said, it's probably 10, 20%. Oh, that's interesting, because that's how many people work in the field of computer science and that area of technology. But veterinary science, 86% women. Medicine these days is like 70% women. Those are science and technology too. So they just choose different areas of science and technology. If you take all the fields of science and technology, women comprise about 50% of it. Ta-da! All right. Anyway, International Women in Science Day. Today, we're joining UNESCO in celebrating all the amazing women in science who dared to discover. Their achievements changed the world forever and blazed the trail for girls around the world to follow. Are you with us? Sure, why not? All right. So, congratulations. Happy International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Obviously, it's great that there are women and girls in science. Good for them. Broomstick challenge. Apparently yesterday, because of the way the Earth's gravitational pull gets weirded out during a certain, in a certain part of where the sun is, you could have stand a broomstick on end or something like that, and it could stand by itself. Brooms are not supposed to stand on their own. Okay, some broomstick. What is this? Okay, this is just someone not happy about it. But apparently, based on some of these broomstick challenge photos, some of y'all need to stop standing them up and start moving them from side to side. Yeah, so anyway, there it is. Someone on CNN doing the broomstick challenge. Just standing that broom there, and it stands there because of the weird gravitational pull. There you go. All right, then they're going to set up another one. Another broomstick challenge. There it goes. Thank God they use the newsroom for important things. But yeah, so I guess it doesn't matter which way you turn it. That's the way the gravitational pull works. That particular day, that happened yesterday. All right, so a lot of people were doing the broomstick challenge, freaking out about it. Let's see this dude.
What's up, man? This is Science for Black Folk. Today, NASA said that the polarity in the Earth can keep a broom standing by itself. Let's try this. This is real. Suck my dick.
There you go. You can stand a broom up whenever. This was bunk. Is it? I don't know about that. I've never tried it. I guess I'll find out myself. Anyway, moving on. Let's go on. That's trending number 5. T-Mobile's trending number 6. Why? Oh. Uh-oh. The $26 billion merger between T-Mobile and Sprint has been approved, and ending a years-long attempt to combine the United States' third and fourth largest wireless carriers. Now my question is, will their merger make their prices any cheaper than they are? Now, I am a Verizon customer right now. That's interesting. Breaking news. T-Mobile is allowed to take over Sprint. A judge ruled the merger would combine America's third and fourth wireless carriers. Does it make them the largest, though? I don't know. Anyway, Sprint, when we had Sprint where I live, Sprint sucked. Okay, just straight up sucked. There are articles that explain the low center of gravity of all brooms. Okay, I'll check that out. I'm gonna try to balance a broom today. Thank you, Prospero. Anyway, every published paper should end with, "This is real. Suck my dick." Thank you to the gayest person on YouTube. Okay, so that's why T-Mobile's trending. COVID-19. Don't know what that is. I bet it's something. Oh no. This just in, the deadly novel coronavirus has killed more than 1,000 people in China, infected more than 42,000, has been officially named COVID-19 by the World Health Organization. So now it took this long for the coronavirus to get an official name. There's over 1,000 deaths now. And now it's up to 42,000 cases. If you watch or subscribe to Sticks Hex and Hammer 666, He has been doing a daily coronavirus update, and that's one video I make sure I watch every day. And you just, so following the numbers on this is really fascinating. And also the problem too is that I don't trust China in their reporting or even their ability to actually track how many people have it, because I'm pretty sure they're running out of testing kits. It's very nerve-wracking, and starting to see some cases in the United States. The first death in the United States has happened. The first case in San Diego just happened, I think, yesterday. So I think there's 9 or 10 cases in the U.S. So I don't know. Just keep track of that shit. You start seeing 100 cases in the U.S., I would go start buying water and beans to put in your basement for a few days. Anyway, good morning, Jack Gunsky. How you doing, my bro? All right, let's move on. PCOTA is something to do with baseball. I don't know what PCOTA is. PCOTA projected what is PCOTA? Cubs Twitter before this year's PCOTA projections dropped. Baseball prospectus PCOTA projections. Okay, they're saying the Reds, they're projecting the Reds with 86 wins, the Cubs in second place. Okay, whatever. If you're a baseball fan, check out the PCOTA standings. That's apparently they're prognosticators. Queso's trending under food. What? See, queso trending is assuming it's about one of my favorite foods. No, it's about a golden retriever that passed away. I don't think I've had a more drastic mood change ever. Oh, dude. So apparently this dog is famous or something because it's trending on Twitter. Goodbye to Queso. Her tumor grew a lot this past week and she was uncomfortable. We chose to say goodbye after a restless night for her. She was still wagging and in good spirits, and we are glad we could give her a peaceful end without suffering. I'm sorry for your loss. Big Cheese has always been my favorite girl. Can't stop crying. We'll miss you, Queso. I don't know how Queso became famous, but I've gone through having to put a dog down, and it's so sad. We had a dog, Buck. We had him for 12 years. 12, 13 years? He was 14 years old. We got him when he was like a year and a half. And that was so hard. There was a service that came in and did it in our home, and he couldn't barely walk anymore, and we just had to do it. But anyway, so rest in peace, Queso. I don't know why you're famous, but hey, you know what? A lot of people showing pictures of their Goldens and Yellow Labs out here. Queso and Hopper. Who? I don't know why this dog is famous, though. So Queso's trending because a dog died. Why is this in the food topics? Did they eat the dog? I feel a super chat coming on by Cryptic. Anyway, moving on. Wes Anderson is trending. First book, a look at Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. Is that a book or a movie? I don't know. The official poster for Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. Check back tomorrow for the first trailer. Oh, it's going to be a movie with Oh, this is a pretty good cast. Tilda Swinton, Frances McDormand, Bill Murray, Jeffrey Wright, Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, and who's this here? Benicio del Toro. This is a great cast. I wonder what it's about. Stephen Park, Matthew Amalric. Okay. Okay, that's coming out soon. There'll be a trailer tomorrow if you're into indie movies. Okay, that's cool. Dionysus. Okay, that's some K-pop shit. 2 seconds and bye. All right, moving on. Stop and Frisk is trending because of Michael Bloomberg. everything you ever suspected about Stop and Frisk that was bad is true. Congratulations, Michael Bloomberg. The Last Supper's trending. Da Vinci's The Last Summer. Okay, what? Oh, good God. They K-popped The Last Supper? What the hell? We must celebrate the Last Supper with himself and eat his own flesh and drink his own blood, which means that he must recognize and accept the other into himself. Jung, The Red Book, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Dionysus, The Last Supper. Okay. Goddamn K-pop. Zaya is trending in the NBA. I don't know why. Let's see. Good morning, Dwayne. Oh no. Okay. Dwayne Wade reveals 12-year-old child will now go by Zaya. The basketball star gave a masterclass in being a supportive parent to a queer or trans child in his recent Ellen interview. Gender nonconforming children deserve to be heard, loved, and supported in their authenticity. Dwayne Wade and Gabriella Union continue to demonstrate phenomenal parenting with their love for Zaya. Yeah, they had their child at a gay pride parade, and they're you know what? I don't know. Cryptic with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Cryptic says, I prefer cats. There you go. I knew it was coming. Okay. So, you know what? So they are being celebrated for being supportive parents and letting their child transition, or at least change their name and whatnot. And here's my only issue with this, okay? Well, not my only issue, but children respond to positive reinforcement. Now, what if this poor kid, and I don't care what they do, it's their kid. The kid's their child. But they've been, like, kids grow out of it. And so making this so public for the entire world that can backfire for your kid. You know, do your thing, you know, but I guess it's hard when you're Dwayne Wade and Gabriella Union. I mean, you know, you're famous people, but man, I just think I don't know. I feel bad for kids, and if this kid decides that they're not going to, if they changed a few more years and decides, oh God, what did I do? Because I was reading, oh man, I'm not getting into this. You know what I'm saying. You know where I'm at. I'm not, whatever. Roger Stone is trending, number 15, and it won't click. Apparently the prosecutors want to give Roger Stone 9 years. Donald Trump said it's a horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side. As nothing happens to them, can't allow this miscarriage of justice. Now he's referring to prosecutors recommend up to 9 years in prison for Roger Stone. They call foreign election interference a deadly adversary, even though Stone was never accused of working with the Russians or WikiLeaks. How about that? This just came out yesterday. Chuck Ross from the Daily Caller wrote this article. Government recommends up to 9 years for Roger Stone in prison. Federal prosecutors in Washington, D.C. on Monday recommended that longtime Trump confidant Roger Stone serve up to 9 years in prison following his conviction on false statement and witness tampering charges related to the Russia investigation. Now, it's funny because now this is the prosecutor asking for this. In their court filing, prosecutors asserted that Stone deserved the multi-year sentence because, quote, foreign election interference is the most deadly adversary of Republican government. They haven't proved that he had anything to do with foreign election meddling. Really? But despite linking Stone to foreign election meddling, the 67-year-old Republican political operative was never charged with working with Russia to influence the 2016 election. That's a little problem right there, I would think, but you never know with how judges are these days. Instead, the charges against Stone involved his testimony to the House Intelligence Committee about his interactions with associates regarding the topic of WikiLeaks, which released emails hacked from the Democrats. From Democrats in 2016. By the way, Judicial Watch just got some emails between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page that they were trying to get on top of the thing because they were talking about how maybe there was people talking about Seth Rich may have downloaded some of that shit. And they said, oh, well, we need to squash this. That'll come out soon. You'll see it. If you follow Judicial Watch, they did a video about that the other day. It's in the emails. Anyway, this is it's bullshit. I mean, if they give him 9 years, if the court gives him 9 years, which they might, they're vindictive pricks. They just hate Donald Trump, and Stone is a friend of Donald Trump's. Anyway, here's someone says, as an American, I'm disturbed by the new McCarthyism, Dems and their trolls who regularly accuse all who disagree with the liberal agenda of being a Russian asset. It's sick and a disturbing trend. Well, I tend to agree with that. It's so funny. Anytime you look on replies to Donald Trump and someone replies in affirming Donald Trump's position, someone undoubtedly is going to call them a Russian bot. It's almost continuous. Anyway, all right, moving on. That was why Roger Stone is trending. In addition to Roger Stone, this happened in an unusual Sunday morning filing. The U.S. Attorney General's office, now led by AG Barr ally, you can see the path both Flynn and Stone's cases are taking now. Feds seek a delay in the Michael Flynn case. The Feds seeking a delay because they're not going to get what they're asking for in that case. That's my personal opinion. All right, moving on. Pitchers. Apparently, the pitchers have been reporting to baseball, whatever, and apparently Madison Bumgarner's absent felt as the Giants pitchers and catchers report. If you're a baseball fan of the Giants in San Francisco, you can read that one yourself. Our Lady of Lourdes is trending. I believe today is the memorial of Our Lady of Lourdes. This celebration remembers the 18 apparitions of Mary to Saint Bernadette in 1858. During one apparition, a spring miraculously appeared in the grotto and has been a source of healing ever since. Our Lady of Lourdes, pray for us. That's got to be a Catholic thing. Okay, moving on. But it's trending because there's lots of Catholics. And finally, Tuesday motivation is the last of my trending topics today. Let's just click one, because you never know if you're going to run into a Twitter thought or a Twitter hashtag ho. Now this one bitching about Donald Trump. We're going to move on. Let's just scroll down. Maybe we'll find a hashtag ho. Check this out. This adorable kid learning martial arts. That's a block. Doing a judo throw. Oh, look at that. She's got some muscles. Oh, blocked the shit. And he's going to throw him down again. Oh, my goodness. She got the block. Oh, isn't this cute? Are y'all just thinking this adorable? Oh, she's taking him down. She's got him in a full mount. Nope. She's got a side mount now. She's got him in a side mount. She's moving him around. Oh, my goodness. She's going to do a little ground and pound. Oh no, she's doing a little jujitsu there. She's got an arm lock. You got to be kidding me. She got him in an arm bar. Oh my gosh, that's some serious stuff. All right, I'm scrolling down. All right, no hashtag host today. All right, that's it, guys. I gotta stop this. Real quick, I got one notification here, and let me see. Thank you, Tim Gersh, again for putting out the show. Let's check my hashtag, PDK News. PDK News. I know I missed one yesterday. I got a couple here. Okay, just the two. So the other day, AOC was in Congress trying to fact check an idiom. What was the one she was trying to fact check? Pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, thank you, Grill and Pirate Pete, because apparently she also was trying to fact check this idiom. They told us it's raining cats and dogs, but it's really just water. Thank you, AOC. And finally, we'll finish up with the other. I got one other thing in my PDK News. By the way, if you want to send me stories, at hashtag, someone put the hashtag in the chat, please. Hashtag PDK News. And my last. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Guess she didn't want to pay. St. Louis woman arrested for stabbing cab driver without notice. Oh my gosh, what? St. Louis woman arrested for stabbing cab driver without notice. Let's check this out. This will be the last story of the day. A St. Louis woman has been arrested for repeatedly stabbing a cab driver during an unprovoked attack in Missouri, authorities said. Alia Zekin, 21, was taken into custody Saturday for the late Tuesday attack on a cab driver whom she stabbed without notice about 11 times with a knife, roughly 4 to 6 inches long, according to a probable cause statement obtained by the St. Louis Post. Zekin stabbed the victim, identified in reports as Inam Allah Katak, as she was seated in the back of the cab, leaving wounds in the man's face, hands, chest, shoulder, and lower torso, the police said. As Katak fled his cab to get help, Zekin hopped into the driver's seat and drove off. The vehicle was later found abandoned about 10 miles away, the Post-Dispatch reports. Zekin, who cops say is homeless, was busted Saturday during a traffic stop in St. Louis County. She faces charges of first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and first-degree tampering with a motor vehicle, the newspaper reports. Katak, who was hospitalized following the attack, told KMOV that Zekin stabbed him without warning. I'm glad to be alive, the 47-year-old victim told the station. Zatak is better known as Sonny, and said he picked Zekin up in Imperial before being asked to go to a nearby convenience store for cigarettes, but the woman's debit card was rejected, prompting her to tell Katak to head to a garage where her father would ultimately pay her fare. I told her, you pay me $30, right? She told me, I will pay your $35, the cabbie recalled from the hospital bed. You take me to my home and my father will pay you money. Then Zekin started stabbing Katak. Holy shit. Yeah, how much notice are you supposed to give? I always do like to give the notice before I stab somebody. Okay, I've never stabbed anybody, so I really don't know. Anyway, the without notice, that's a weird way to put it, you know? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Thank you so much for being here today at the Morning Night Live. You know that I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. GMT. If you have not already hit the like button, if you like what I do, click that thumbs up before you go. Duck Dog, I'm pretty sure you've already hit the thumbs down. Also, please share the video out, whether you're watching live or if you're watching on replay. And if you are watching on replay, please leave a comment in the section down below so that I know you were here. Also, please share this out. I already said that. And if you'd like to donate to the show or donate to what we do as I build my new studio in the basement to get out of the dining room, you can do that through the Streamlabs link down below. I will read your super chats during the show, as you can tell from Cryptic and Willie Fisterpuss. I will read your super chats, and if it's during off hours, I will gladly read in the next show. So, for those of you who are going to be here tomorrow, I look forward to it, and or drop by some other time of the week when you have time. Thank you so much again for being here. My name is PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.